Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Bound to Truth. This is Chris Lopez. It is what, January 27th on a Monday, 2025. Gosh, it's actually been an actual year doing the podcast. Actually, yesterday was considered doing the podcast. No, that was the 24th. That was on a Friday. So I can't get my maths right and I'm a banker. It's really sad. But anyways, happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm sure you guys watched a lot of football and how the Bills got screwed, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know about cheating? So anywho, and if I insulted any Kansas City fans out there, listen, you understand. You're the new Patriots, okay? You guys, you got the new Tom Brady in your team. It is what it is. All right, enough of me doing my Flagner spilling. John Hershey's not going to be with us this evening. He had to do some work, family life stuff. The guy's got more kids than I can count, so he's taking care of that this evening. We do have a special guest, a recurring guest that I will introduce shortly. And you know him very well, and he is just a fantastical, phenomenal, and guy who is never boring, a multi-talented musician and all that sort. So, I'll get back to him. But before we get into inviting our guest on, how can you reach us? Again, like I said before, boundtotruth34 at gmail.com. Feel free to send your comments, concerns, insults, praises. You want to be the guest on the show. We are on X, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on YouTube now, not just audio, but video now. So this will be the third recording video. And then also on Buzzsprouts. And I also want to apologize to everybody too. We were supposed to launch out our first live paranormal therapy podcast for people to kind of talk and join on. We had some things that kind of got in the way. I'll tell you this, when it gets cold out here, it screws with your energy levels. I gotta get used to that. But yeah, so we just got some things that kind of got in the way a little bit. My computer wasn't working properly for what we were needing. Plus, we were going to use TikTok. We were planning to use TikTok for that platform, and then of course with Trump inauguration, again, not trying to politics, but there was the whole TikTok ban thing going on. So I kind of interrupted the process too. So we're going to probably look at doing that more in beginning February, mid to beginning February. We definitely would put out a calendar where we're really ready to go and everybody's prepared to join in. So, anywho, I want to welcome back the one and only, the famous, the non-boring, majestic Randy Bauer. How you doing, bud?
Oh, like almost perfect, real good.
Good. Hey, you look
Yeah.
good, man. You look good. You look beautiful. That light on
Oh,
your
I haven't
head.
shaved.
Oh,
It's just
dude,
been lazy.
look at this, man. Look at this. I look like well, I can't I'm not gonna say Bigfoot, but I look like a methodical cryptid somehow. I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
So but yeah, man. So bringing you back on, and it's been a few months. Gosh, I don't look if it's been 2 or 3 months or maybe four since we had it on the podcast. So, dude, platform's yours. I know we talked before. We're gonna talk about some other things that have been going on around the country that's been interesting. I'd love to get your thoughts on. But hey, man, what do you want to talk about this evening? What is new in your neck of the woods? No pun intended.
Well, there's some Sasquatch stuff that's happened again since I last talked to you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll explain it. Okay, they can mimic any animal. Sometimes not that good, but they can.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times in our yard, like the book writer Mike Wass, that wrote that book, Sasquatch Central, about this place here, and other people they've had horse whinnies. They've heard a horse whinny in our yard. Well, there's no horses here,
Mm-hmm.
but on the next 40 acres, my daughter has horses, so that's where that's coming from.
Okay.
So this year during deer hunting in Minnesota is usually the second week in November. So the first weekend I'm not hunting here. The second weekend I'm hunting here behind the house,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in a stand across the creek here. There's a river here, the Cormant River, and there's a creek. They come together in a Y, Spring Creek, and I got to stand across there along a fence line.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry's son Tanner's got to stand not back in as far.
All right.
So I'm sitting in my stand about 9 in the morning, and Tanner's in his stand. I hear a horse whinny. It was loud. First thing comes to mind, oh, daughter Rachel, you better not be riding horses back here. We're hunting. I didn't realize that they had just built this indoor riding arena. It's 120 feet by 68 feet. And the right-in part is heated, and the front part's got 6 stalls. Well, they were gone and their horses were inside their heated stalls. They weren't out and about. And
And this is at
that
night, right?
happened.
Is this at
What?
night? Is this at night?
No, no,
Oh,
this is
this is
9 in
during
the morning.
9 in the morning. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
And
And by the way, before we continue, what's the temperature like right now around that time? I know you get a lot of snow and everything.
around that time it was like 25 above.
Okay. Cold,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Not really cold when you're used to Minnesota weather, but still kind of cold.
Oh no, it's we're here in Washington. We're starting to finally hit our cold uh streak here. We're now starting to hit tip below to 28, 27. No rain. It's been a really dry winter. Kind of, I mean, weird, which we can talk later about. But yeah, but anyways, go for it.
Well, before I get going, a week
Yep.
and a half ago up by Canada, it was
Mhm.
30 below on the thermometer, and with the wind, it was 50 below.
And with the wind, it was 50 below.
It was 50 below with the wind chill, yeah. But it was 30
Oh,
below on the thermometer.
oh
But
God, heck
when
no,
it's
man.
30 below, 10 below, it's what it is, it's just cold. You,
Oh
you
God.
get used to it.
I would probably lose my hair. I'd probably just turn to sickles, man.
Well, that's what look at my head. That's why I don't have no hair. Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
anyways, there was that horse Winnie, and
Yeah.
I thought Rachel better not be riding, but she was gone and their horses were inside. So there was no horse Winnie by from those horses. And then it happened 7 times. And then there were 7 knocks. But I'm not going to get down out of the stand and walk over to Tanner because that
Hmm.
was over by him because I'm
Right.
hunting and he's hunting. I'm not
Right.
going to ruin his hunting by going over there. But I set my stand dark till dark. So I get out about 5 o'clock, walk back in. He stays longer. He gets in about 10 after 5. I asked him about it. He said, "Oh yeah, the horse was right by him, less
Right.
than 20 feet away. It was right there."
Mm.
And the other ones were walking to my gifting area. There was no body. There was no tracks in the snow. There was nothing.
But something left but
Um,
there was something
I
left
don't
behind.
usually give theories, but this is what makes sense. They put that
Okay.
sound in our minds. There was no body to be seen. There was no tracks. If there's no tracks and no body, what are they doing? Invisible and hovering above the ground? No, I don't think so. I think they're putting that sound in our mind.
Do you
That
think
makes sense.
do you think because we talk about the minds you talk about the mind speak, right?
Hmm.
Now, hmm, this is going to be stretching it, but you know what? What else is not stretching it? Do you think, Bigfoot, these entities,
Hmm.
not only mind speak, and I'm kind of picking up, I think we talked about this before, but can also create some type of illusion and cloak themselves, not because they're hiding from you, but they're messing with your, I don't want to say messing with your head, but they're projecting
Yes.
instead of cloaking. And you know what? I didn't think about this before. Instead of them cloaking themselves, where it's like I'm changing my surroundings around your perception. It's how
Hmm.
about I'm just going to change your perception around my surroundings.
Yes.
Do you
That
think
sounds good.
is that kind of off base? You think that's kind of like
No, I don't think it's off base.
okay?
No.
I
And the
just know what I
reason
thought
I
about, man.
don't give opinions,
Yeah,
because
it's just a
opinions are
thought.
guessing,
Yeah,
but nothing else makes sense because I don't know
right.
about that. But um, where are the tracks?
Mhm.
None. He said it was right by him.
Right.
And
Wow.
then, okay, that happened. And the next day, we're out in this. Because I'm in my stand at 5 in the morning because I set dark till dark. But I had to go in early that day, the next day. I had to leave by 9. It happened again at 10 in the morning by him.
Jesus.
Same thing. And there was no tracks. So that happened.
So no tracks, but there was gifts, right? Or no?
No, there was just knocking sound.
Knocking sounds, no tracks.
They told me what the knocking sound is. It's them popping into our dimension. That's what the knocking.
Really?
They're not hitting a tree.
Right.
That
You,
no.
you did mention that, like the whole tree knocking thing is ridiculous. It's just something we're assuming is this is they must be tree knocking.
And they're not at
Right.
all. No, they're
Interesting.
not.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
The next thing that happens, I'm riding down on the snowmobile on all the trails because not that I can't walk in the snow, I can, but it's just easier to walk on a frozen snowmobile track around all them trails there. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing. And I had been doing that for a good deer hunting's done now.
Yeah.
Said I don't ride snowmobile during deer hunting. I wouldn't do that. So deer hunting's done. So I'm riding the snowmobile around all the trails.
Mhm.
And I did that for a good 2 or 3 days. And here's another thing. They're not taking the peanut butter apples now. Every year that happens about this time, they
Mhm.
don't take the stuff.
Mhm.
But anyways, so I ride down one trail and it's frozen hard, but I'm riding down the same trail with a snowmobile. I go out to the power line. I take a left. I go down another trail, take another left, and stop where I have to go in the woods to my gifting area.
Mhm.
So I'm back there looking around and I talk to them all the time. And sometimes I just ramble on. I just talk.
Right.
And I say, hey, can you give me another gift? I haven't had one for a while. Like, give me another Y stick or a
Mhm.
deer skull or something like that.
Yeah.
And I say that. I don't expect nothing, but I say that. And I wait around for a little bit. Then I go out to get the snowmobile, turn around, and go back the way I came. I go back to the power line, take a right. I go back down the trail I just came. And guess what?
What?
There was a perfect Y stick on the snowmobile trail I just came, but it wasn't laying flat. It was standing up like this here. It was about a
No.
foot long.
Wow.
It wasn't there before because I would have ran over it. It was sticking up just like this here.
So wait,
And
how,
it was
it was about a
perfect.
was it so it was a whole stick, a Y whole stick, right?
Yes, it was a
And
Y and a straight line like that. The
and
straight
it
part was down into the snow, and the Y was standing up about that tall. Perfect.
how thick was the stick?
Littler than a pencil. It was a little one. It
Gotcha.
was
Okay.
old. It was too light to fall off a tree and land in that hard frozen snow. It would just
Right.
flop.
Not because of how frozen and cold it is. Not it's not powdered snow. It's already been pounded in
No,
by the snowmobile.
it
So it's
right.
yeah, right.
I can
So
walk on the snowmobile trail and hardly leave a track with my feet, with
right.
my
I mean,
boots.
right. So when you were asking us, was it vocal or was it kind of in your mind?
And that's who was vocal. I'm talking out loud.
Okay, gotcha. Make sure.
Yep.
Then what time frame was after that, and then coming back when that
I was
stick
out there
showed up?
about 4 o'clock, and it was about 10 after 4.
Wow, that quick.
Right away. It
No
was right away.
noise, no tracks, nothing.
No tracks, no noise. Um, it was a dead stick. In fact, I have it in the house here. If you want to talk a little bit, I'll go get it.
Yeah, let's do it. You know what's
You
funny?
talk a little bit, I'll go get
Either it's coincidence, you should buy a lottery ticket, or wow, wow, that is interesting. So everybody, he's getting his Y stick that he's going to show us that was gifted to him after
right
he
here.
asked. Whoa, 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 whoa,
This was
whoa.
poked in the snow. In fact, oh, that's done. Yeah, and look at there. And yes, it was freshly broke off, as you can see right there.
Hold, hold up, pull up more of the camera on the end. I mean, yeah, no, show the end
Down
of it.
some.
That is trippy, man.
Yep.
I mean, look how well I mean,
Freshly broke off there and there.
wow.
That's what a Y stick is. I have lots of them they give me.
You
I don't
know,
just walk out in the woods and say, "Oh, there's a Y stick," and pick it up. There's a lot of them laying
right,
around.
right, yeah,
They put them
no.
on my steps.
Well, when you're asking it 10 minutes later and there's no footprints or anything and it just shows up, I mean, that's
They
pretty
give it to me
wow.
because they do things I ask for. Not all the time, but little things like this. And this was poked into the snow like this. It was standing straight up. If it was there before, I would have ran over it. It would have been down like this and it would have been busted up from the snowmobile.
Wow. So, have you ever asked like is there with like the white you get a lot of white sticks, right? Have you ever asked Bigfoot if what they mean? Is it just because it's just a stick and they it's like, hey, it's a stick, or is there a purpose behind the certain shape of it? Have they ever answered that before? I know
No,
you
I've
have
never
your
asked.
theories.
I've never
Okay.
asked what the Y6 mean, but they told me what the X's mean.
And what was the X's again? It was
The X's in the woods, it's a boundary, but it's not a boundary for humans. It's a boundary for other things that we don't know about.
that
That's what,
crossover,
huh?
like in like other entities, like
Yeah, other
dimensional, or
or
what we're gonna
cryptids.
call
Yeah,
about
yeah,
cryptid
it's a
stuff.
boundary for them. And they put X's in my yard by my steps of the house, sometimes four X's, the little ones, big, about that long. And they put them by other stuff in the yard and they're perfect. and those extras are for other things not to bother us. That's
So
what they
you
told
think
me in
it's
the
more
mind speak.
you think so it's basically sounds like more protection for you.
Yes,
Got
exactly
it.
what they told me. Yes.
Got it.
And
Interesting.
those mind speaks I get are just like so clear, it just pops in my head. Oh my God. And I'll
Wow.
say, thanks for telling me that. It's so clear.
That's amazing. You know what's funny? I'm curious too with a lot of Native lore, right? The Native Americans and the connections with Bigfoot and
Mm-hmm.
so forth. I wonder if a lot of their beliefs, and again, I know you don't like speculating me. I'm a person who's just very inquisitive, who's like a what if kind of person, just to
Mm-hmm.
like, again, not putting out that this is fact. I never want to do that because I don't freaking know, right?
Yep.
But I
Yep.
like to get creative about certain theories. And I wonder if certain medicines and certain rituals and everything, like designs with sticks and so forth, like that, come from that type of influence. I'm just wondering, you
Yeah. I
know.
mean, I don't know. And the reason I don't really give opinions because I think they're guessing, but I got so much going on, I don't need to give opinions.
No,
That's why I'm not being
absolutely,
smart about it,
absolutely.
but that's yeah,
No, and you know what? I respect that, and you need to be true to who you are. And I would never ask you to change. And if you started
yep,
changing, then I would say we need to talk, buddy. No.
yep. And now, and
Yeah.
the next thing that happened, bef okay, the reason I'm not posting a lot on my site, in between my music life and my sound company,
Mm.
I go up to Oak Island, not the one in Nova Scotia. It's up by Canada.
Is
You know
that
how Minnesota is? It goes like this and comes
yeah?
to a square, the northwest angle, and I'm on Oak Island.
Is that the
I
famous Oak
drive
Island?
fishermen out, the bombardier, ice fishermen out
Yeah,
in the bombardier, and I'm a rapper. I rap fish. I do
that's awesome.
whatever, but I come and go. That's why I'm home now because our band's got a job in Wisconsin this weekend.
Oh, nice.
So I go
Okay.
back up there and I come and go. Just
So,
keeps money coming in between my music life.
well, the Oak Island, is this the famous Oak Island that they show on?
No, that's Nova Scotia.
That is no. Okay, so IMS. Okay, I got it. You know what? I need it's for a guy like me does all this research. I need to get my ass out more.
Yeah.
So okay. Anyways, continue on, man. Go for it.
Yep. This is Oak Island in Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. You got Oak Island. We got Oak Island.
Okay. Then last thing that's happened, um, before I went up to Oak Island this last time, it's probably not last Saturday, the Saturday before. I'm walking around all the woods there and I cross a little creek and I get to the fence line and I'm walking down that going north and I decided to go home. So
Hmm.
my tracks in the snow are about maybe that deep. The snow is about that deep, I guess.
Hmm.
And the next day I said, I'm going to walk the same way because I had asked him, can you give me some tracks or something like that there? Just let me know. I always say, give me some tracks or block my trail. Let me know you like what I've been doing. I always say that. So I decided to walk the same way, walk around the whole woods and cross that creek. There's a log across the little creek, and I can kind of cross it if the ice isn't good.
Hmm.
And so I go the same way, and guess what I got?
Hmm.
My tracks are almost covered up because it snowed hard that night. I got three Sasquatch tracks. They're about that long. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, it's as big. Yeah.
They're big
Yeah.
on three Sasquatch tracks in the middle of the fence line. They started 6 feet later, there's another one. 6 feet later, there's another one. They started with nothing behind it, and they ended after the third track with nothing.
Jeez. And when
They're
you said
right
six,
by my tracks, and they're
wow.
not even hardly covered in snow. So it must have happened early in the morning.
So
Just what
six,
I asked for.
so 6 feet is between like you would say how their walking stride
Yeah,
is.
a
That's
step.
pretty freaking.
six
That's
feet
taller
later,
than
a
me,
step
man.
in line, not
Yeah.
staggered like humans do. In line, a step, and one more step, and no more.
You know what's interesting
Deer
about
tracks, no nothing, just that.
Bigfoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
For their massive size, they are freaking ninjas. I mean, they just know how to really, again, that just goes back to, are they cloaking themselves or are they cloaking our brains? That whole that again, we have no idea. But obviously there's one thing that's definitely for sure high, it's highly intelligent and not what we think.
Yeah.
Based on talking to you, and I would say I've watched other people in their videos, and they have echoed the same thing you have before. And this is few 3 or 4 months ago watching other because I like to watch other people talk about their experience with Bigfoot. Same thing. They're
Mm-hmm.
not. beings from here. They're
They're
interdimensional.
not. No.
They're interdimensional. There's portals that they've seen that open up. And it's funny at first because you're the first person I've talked to mention that. I have not. And to me, I'm thinking, well, that's interesting. I was thinking they're just an undiscovered, right, bipedal, animal, right?
Hmm.
But you saying that, I like me, I'm like, I get my mind open, but then to start opening these questions, what if this, what if that? You're getting these gifts. There's no tracks. There's, it's and their mind speaking to you, right? And there's this intelligent
Hmm.
response. They're giving you gifts, not just gifts, protection from other cryptid entities and God knows
Hmm.
what. And that could be something that is like a rake or a wendigo or even great aliens from other dimensions, right? The
Hmm.
dimensional thing can be all tied together. We have no idea,
Yep.
right? So, and
I might as well
yeah.
just say what my one, since it's, I might as well say what they told me,
Mhm.
what they're not. I'm going to say it again, even though I said it to you before.
You say it again.
I asked, am I gifted? And I said, and I always say, you guys, whether male or female, I said, can
Right,
you guys tell me what's going on here, what you are? Of course, I don't get nothing right there. Then I decided to walk home. I get almost home, but I'm walking through the woods. All of a sudden, I get stopped dead in my track. Oh my God. I said, thanks for telling me.
right,
We don't migrate south. We don't migrate south
right,
for the winter. We don't bury our dead. We don't live in
right,
caves. We don't go in the swamp in northern Minnesota when it's 40 below out. We do not live on your earth.
right.
We come to your earth a lot because we like to. We go in swamps, we go in caves, we go deep in the woods, but we do not live on your earth.
Yep.
They said we're interdimensional, metaphysical, because we can be in the physical form because we leave tracks and hair and all that, but we are interdimensional. And the reason we come here because we like to come here.
Y-
That's what they told me.
Yeah, I do
No more
remember
than
that.
that. Yeah,
It,
that's what they told me.
and you know what's funny is that when people hear this, right, they're gonna be like, "That sounds nuts and loony." I'm like, "Well, how nuts is it and loony if we're taking a plane to another civilization we know that hasn't touched humans? Like, there's um what is there's village people, there's people out there, not the band, not the group guys, but people who haven't been touched by society that still exist privately, right? For us taking a plane over to them, that could be interdimensional. Again,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not.
you got to think of this here for those people that think.
And we got a Walt Disney. You there? Hold on, buddy. Everybody hold on. Randy has frozen. I'm gonna take a pause for a minute and we'll get right back to it. All right, everybody, we're back. Randy's about to tell some big secrets about Bigfoot, and they pretty much told him, "Hold on, buddy, we got to talk first before you do that." So, anyways, we are back, and we were picking up the conversation where we talked about. I was talking about comparing it with planes flying over indigenous areas, but we got cut off. And please continue what you're going to say, Randy.
Okay. The people that think they're just some kind of animal hiding in the woods and all this stuff, you cannot explain nothing. But if you think the other way explains everything, because they've been searching for Sasquatch for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, and they never really got nothing because they never will,
Mhm.
because they're not a big animal hiding in the woods. They're interdimensional, metaphysical, and that is what they are. And if people have an open mind to that, it explains everything. There's no such thing as the woo about Sasquatch. No, it's what they've always been, what they can do, and what they've always been. I know I said that twice, but
No,
that's what they are.
well, you know what? Too, talking to you, Randy, has really opened my world. Like I said, you're one of my first guests who I've been fortunate and graceful to have you on, not just once, but multiple times.
Hmm.
Do you think, and just this personal journey for myself, not just with Bigfoot, but other things that we've talked about, other things I've discussed on my other episodes, that you think it's very hubris of us to think that we're just the smartest species, that there's something so much more that's got even more of intelligence. It's almost like laughable about how smart we are. And again, I'm not saying we're dumb. I think we're more ignorant. I think we have ego. And if we
Hmm.
don't know how to humble ourselves and unite together to really open those doors, those possibilities for something more. Do you think that's what's holding us back? Do you think like example with Sasquatch that it's just laughable that we're this top intelligence but our ego's holding us back, and it's almost like you guys, there's the world's bigger than what it is. Like your
Yes.
thought. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, that's so what so with all this going on with our many conversations and what we've talked about and so forth, what has this done personally in your life when it comes to your worldview and open your eyes? Just not just with the Sasquatch, but in general with a lot of things around the world that's happening. Have you seen the world differently just by the experience you've had over the years with Sasquatch in that sense and asking more
Yeah, I can tell
questions?
you something. I
Yeah, go
can't really
for it.
explain it,
Okay.
but when I was younger, if I had the gun, I'd go out and shoot anything that moved.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter. And
Hmm.
when I was in shooting deer, man, I'd shoot deer and because my dad and the family were always meat eaters things. I've changed since the Sasquatch thing.
Hmm.
I've changed with about
Remember you
animals.
talking about
I
that?
don't even
Yeah.
want to shoot them anymore.
Right.
Even when it comes, this is crazy. There was a mouse in that old cabin we're staying in Oak Island. I had to get rid of it, and I felt bad about it.
Yeah.
I've never been like that before.
Yeah.
So that has changed for me. And when Doug and his recording engineer, here's another thing, had those 8 cameras out in the woods at my place here,
Hmm.
maybe 3 or 4 years ago now,
Hmm.
and they weren't trail cameras; they were security cameras, and they had 1,000 feet of extension cord running to them and 1,000 feet of Wi-Fi cable running to them.
Right.
When I finally said, "I'm taking them out of here,"
Right.
and as I was taking them out of there and getting the cords out of there, it's like the woods. I don't know; it's hard to explain. Like the woods relax or come open up, and it was just like it was a better. I'm not explaining it right, but
No,
it seemed like the woods came to peace.
no, you know what? I think what I understand. I'm following exactly what you're saying. It's like having a foreign. It's like stabbing, like getting stabbed with a foreign object that's not natural around your body and surroundings. And when you take something out, that maybe it could be messing with certain frequencies. I have no idea. I'm not a scientist, but that could be where
Right,
it's interrupting something that's sensitive at that moment. Who knows what kind of energy that force, what's going on that we can't see, but we can feel it, right? And I think that's
right. I
something
could
we miss.
definitely feel
Yeah.
it.
And I think that's so important that people think see is believing. No, I really also believe feeling is believing too. You know,
Yeah, it is
and
because
and yeah,
go
and
ahead.
so I'm following what you're saying is that once you took that out for whatever reason at that moment at that time, what was happening, it was interfering with something that was trying to maximize its communication, its connection with you, right, and or to others around that area. That's what I'm that's what my mind's going to with that.
Yeah, because when I was wrapping up the cords, and the more I wrapped up and got out of there, the better the woods felt. And I never had that feeling before, but I could definitely tell the difference.
You know what? Speaking of woods, I have a question for you in this one because you do a lot more traveling the woods, all that stuff around. Have you ever
Mhm.
noticed at times, maybe depending on certain areas, that the woods look different to you and have a different feel?
Yes, and
Okay.
I can't explain it.
Okay. I say that too because I feel that. I've been different parts of Washington. We're green all over from top, right? Right.
Hmm.
You live from all that stuff. But there are certain woods that have at times great beauty and peace, and there's times that's just dark and gloomy and something's not right. It's still greenery, but it also has some of it gets like there's also times where it's like kind of a darker tint. It's really weird. I won't forget last year when John and I went to the Iron Goat Trail, and there was a lot of bad things that happened, and that was just some bad juju. And also
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you remember this, but when we were walking back, we had things getting thrown from the top of the mountain.
You did?
Yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. And we were like, we're gonna go, Godspeed, we're done. Um,
Hmm.
But I just wanted to ask that because you're more of a woodsman than I am, and I was just curious to see if that's something you ever picked up regarding your travels and in nature and so
No,
forth.
but I've had 9 times, and Tanner was with me, and we had another 9 times the next night of something doing a cannonball splash in the river right by us, and
Right.
we didn't see nothing.
Hmm.
It wasn't no beaver tail slap. That's a slap. This was go boom, like they were taking their fists and hitting the water. Now, did I tell you about the remote viewing in Jen and the Sasquatch right by me last time?
I do remember that, but for the listeners who haven't heard that episode, please, if you'd love to, we would love to hear you
Yeah.
share it again. Please go for it.
Okay. So I do my gifting. It was this fall, like I do all the time. And in fact, last year I went through 300 jars of peanut butter and 30 bags of apples.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, so I go back to I got a couch back there and some chairs and a little fire ring. And I'm excited. I said to the Sasquatch or whatever's listening to me, I said, I'm going to sit back there tonight. And I've never done that by myself. And I'm not scared of Sasquatch, but it's a weird feeling back there all by yourself.
Right.
So I'm sitting there back. I got the fire going. It's not dark yet. And I text Jen. Jen is one of the she squatchers. They got a little group, but they're
Yeah.
really good at remote viewing. They can do it well. And when I sitting back there, all of a sudden I get a scream at me
Hmm.
and sound like a wolf or a coyote, but it doesn't sound right. And it's loud.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there and I write to Jen and I said, hey, Jen, I'm sitting back at the fire ring here by myself and I don't feel right. And she texts me back. She says, why is that? Is it because you're by yourself? I text her back and says, yes.
Hmm.
Then I ask her, can you do a remote viewing of the place back here right now where I'm at? See if there's anything around here. She says, no, Randy, I can't. I'm tied up with something and I cannot get away. So I said, okay. We hang up or stop texting. Then I call John Badger. What she's been here, seen all the weird stuff, had
Right.
the weird stuff, and seen a Sasquatch here before, jumped the fence. And it's getting dark now. And I'm talking to him maybe about 10 minutes, and it is dark. And I say, John, I really feel weird here. I don't think I should have did this here. I do not feel comfortable. Something's weird. And all of a sudden, I hear two footsteps right behind me and some brush break. And I say, John, I just heard two footsteps and some brush break right behind me. And I said, I really shouldn't have been done this here. And I said, I'm going to let you go. I got to get some more wood on the fire here.
Right.
I can keep the fire going good. And all of a sudden, my phone dings and it's a text message. And it's from Jen. She said, Randy, I was able to do a remote viewing. You got a Sasquatch just walked up on you. I'm watching it right now, and it's watching you.
Hmm.
And there's one that screamed earlier at you. And I turned around right away. Of course, it's dark out. I'm not going to see nothing. And then she texted me again. She said, Randy, don't turn around. I said, too late. I already did. Of course, I don't see nothing or nothing like that. And I don't even want to get up and walk back because I got to walk back in the dark.
Right.
Yeah, but finally I do.
Right.
And the next day I go back there. I could see the two footsteps in the grass and I could see where it broke the brush.
Wow.
So she didn't know that I heard the footsteps in the brush break. She did not have no idea.
Yeah.
Because she texted me about the remote viewing before I even told her that.
Can I share something with you? And this is something that's recently that's coming out.
Yep.
This is not to deviate from the Sasquatch because
Mm-hmm.
I know we're gonna talk about other things. But I forgot the term for it. So there's, Russ Coldhart, News Nation, you got these whistleblowers coming out regarding, the UAPs and all this stuff out, and there's been a new whistleblower that came out and everything. There's a big talk, which I've known for years. I'm sure you've known too, but it's becoming more announced and more of an actual official thing, which is about the whole um, remote viewing.
Oh,
Now,
yep.
and so this is something that's not new, that's become more in light, that's been around for years, and people have been what do you call it, recruited. If you want to, I mean, you can call it recruited if you want,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the situation, not just by our country, but also Russia during the Cold War. Maybe even China. I have no idea. We could talk. I mean, like example, the mention of the Montauk Project, which inspired the show Stranger Things, with all that remote
Mm-hmm.
viewing type of stuff. Um, and so that's interesting that even hearing that story again and just kind of connecting that really kind of confirms this is real. It's not a joke. This is something that I don't know if all of us have the potential to do. Maybe people stronger than others. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, wow. I mean, thoughts on that?
No, I don't. I think I'm too hyper to sit there and meditate and learn how to do it. I
No,
got too much.
no, no. Me, I can't sit still. I mean, I'm a banker, and I have my tracking watch. I'm making sure I get my steps each day.
Yep.
And people are like, "Why do you have your teller station all the way from your desk so I can get my steps in and walk so if I eat that piece of candy, I don't feel fat." So, but no, but like with Jen and everything like that, it sounds like you've known. I never asked her how long you've known the She Squatchers, Jen. I mean, all of them but it sounds like a really long time I mean, that is an amazing gift, and I can't imagine what that's like to have that and what that feels like or what. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, so I mean that could be a whole nother conversation. But anyways, so sorry to
Yeah.
deviate from that.
Well, you
So
don't have to, because I'll tell you another
go for it.
remote viewing thing.
Go
While
for it.
we're talking about remote viewing, Tammy, the other one,
Mhm.
she can do it real well too. I'll make it quick. We're
Mhm.
sitting in the deer stand, me and John. We cross in the state land. We make it until about midnight. We hear a couple of things, but could have been a deer walking. We don't know.
Right.
We get out. We're walking back. There's a bridge there, homemade thing across the river, the creek.
Right.
And I got this red beam flashlight, and it is bright. And I jokingly said, I'm just joking. I said, John, wouldn't it be something if I shine the light down by the river down there, and there's a cougar down there? I said that. And I
Oh yeah,
shine
yeah,
light down
yeah.
there.
Sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
God,
Yeah.
there's a cougar down there. And ain't no bobcat. It's got a long tail. It's cougar. And it really startled me and him, but I always carry a pistol with me.
Right. Right.
And
And that's for
it looked at it.
protection. That's for defense, not to, yeah, I get it.
It's not for no Sasquatch. It'd
Yeah.
be if I get between a mother bear and her cubs there, I got to have something. And not that I'll shoot the bear, I'll shoot an air first, but
To see
I
the
can't
scares.
protect
Right.
myself
Yeah.
like a Sasquatch could. Anyways, it starts walking away, but then it stops
Mhm.
and turns around and starts walking to us. And I said, I better get my pistol. I start pulling my pistol out, and a log comes flying at us from across the river. Well, the log
Mm.
won't fly by itself. So, okay, that's that story. And then the cougar runs off. And then when the she squatch was here, Tammy had did some remote viewing here. She said, Randy, one of your Sasquatches got a friend. And I never told her no story about no cougar.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I met her. And I said, what? Oh, one of your Sasquatches got a friend, and it's a cougar.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
She can't
that's
make that up.
so that's so awesome. That's so
Yeah.
freaking awesome, man. I love that. I really do. That is it's laughable. Not laughing because it's not true. It's just there's some humor behind that. A little bit dark humor, like,
There
you
is.
met, yeah, you basically met his cat. It's like,
Yep.
type of thing.
And they remote viewed again, and they seen 20 Sasquatches at my place. That's what they
Wow.
told me.
Wow.
And yeah, that's what they said.
Jeez. So I want to ask this again, and I want to remind people because I know I barely had this podcast for about a year, but I like to hear this again. You're gonna have people say, "Well, where's the picture? Where's the proof? Why don't you have cameras out there? Why don't you have this?" I know you mentioned it here and there,
I will
but
explain it.
yeah, but I think it's important to hear that because people are gonna say, "Well, that's convenient, right? That's
Right.
convenient.
Anybody can make a story up.
Anybody can make a story up, right? That's convenient." So the question I have is why not, and also do you care? And what I mean, do you care is about people think about your story.
Um,
And,
I
or how about
don't
this? What's
care.
or what or what's or how about this? What's important for you for people to grab from that story besides believing?
To learn the truth and stop trying to get evidence off them. That's how you'll get evidence.
Gotcha.
Okay. The reason I don't do anything like that, I'll start from the beginning.
Yep.
Doug Hychek from the History Channel, we got to
Yep.
be friends.
Yep.
He said, Randy, put a camera out at your gifting area where I do my peanut butter and say to them, hey, can we get a picture of you? It'll just be for me and Doug Hychek and Doug. We won't share it to nobody. But then I said, if you never ever want cameras here ever again, ever, I said, you gotta give me a sign that I can see that you don't want cameras here.
Mhm.
Something I can see. The next day I go back
Like
there.
like meeting in the middle about it. Meet in the
Yep.
middle about it. Yep.
Yep. My camera's twisted. The SD card, when I get home, is wiped clean, nothing on it, batteries drained dry, and there's a 15-foot, about that big around into the Y each side, 15-foot Y stick laying on my camera. There was no storm. It was placed there. I said, give me a sign that I can see. Well, there's a sign
Yep.
that I can see. I
It's a
didn't,
yeah.
so I haven't done cameras. And the reason why I get so much interaction with them is because I'm not trying to get evidence for the world.
Right.
Now, I didn't just go out there and say that. It took me a few years to get that. I got 8 cameras. I used to do cameras and the knocking and the whooping, same stuff everybody else does. I never really got interaction. It slowly evolved into that. When I put the Y stick on the camera thing, that's when it started slowly evolving. And now I get lots of interaction with them because they trust me. And I'm taking it even one step farther. I'm
Mhm.
not taking pictures of the tracks I've seen. I'm not taking pictures. I'm not taking the hair that I've got anymore. I'll tell you about that. Um, there's a new X right by the house here. It's about 20 feet tall in between one of the trails. It's in the middle. I
Wow.
didn't take a picture of it. Now, yeah, I'd like to take pictures of all that kind of stuff to show people, but I'm not. Because if I tell them I'm not trying to get evidence off you, well, if I'm taking pictures, that's getting evidence.
Well, you know what, too?
I'm doing that.
You know what? I'm going to say this because I thought about this for a while. Is we all want to see something, right? But I think like people ask, well, Chris, how do you believe Randy? I just do. I do. I really do. I just our conversations, the genuality. I have to trust my spirit with it, or take a leap of faith, if we want you to call it. But I do. And I met some
Mhm.
crazy people in the world who are grounded. Okay.
Right.
And one of the things I think too, what I like about this is that it's because it's like, well, what's the point? Why? So it's like, if I'm asking you, Randy, well, where's the proof? Why don't you take a picture? Why don't you show it to me? Well, what's that going to do for me? I think, and again, I know you don't like throwing out theories, but I like to think emotionally, is that these beings, the Sasquatch, are like, listen, if you want to know us, come talk to us. Come out, get out of your comfort zone. Come meet with us. Don't take pictures. Don't do
You are
that.
exactly right. I'm going
Here-
to interject this before you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, go for it. Sorry, but that's what I mean. But anyways,
I
let me share that.
am not trying to get evidence for some guy down the
Right,
road that I don't even know. I
right,
could care less about that. My
right.
place, I'll let people come here
Well, it's almost
and
like saying, "Hey,
tell them,
Randy, how do we know you're married?" Well, I'm not taking a picture of my wife every freaking moment. You either believe the ring or you don't. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go
right.
ahead. Yeah.
My place is not for evidence, it's for the experience.
Hmm.
That's what my place is for. And I don't need to prove it to somebody else. What's the point? I'm
Exactly.
doing this here. I want to get to the next level with them. Tell me how many people have got the next level with them. Not a lot. There's probably some that I don't know about. But what do most people do? They're walking around, hitting a tree, knocking, whooping, putting cameras out, and they're not really getting nothing. They might get
Right.
a side hat. They're not really getting interaction. They might get a picture or see one run across the road. That's not interactive.
You know what,
Not
too,
like
Randy?
what I'm getting.
What I love about your approach to Randy is how much you involved in this relationship with the Sasquatch. Is that there's a very good heart about you that has great intent. That it's not
Right.
about I'm doing it for money. I'm doing it to prove others that I'm not crazy, right? I'm not like because those are pointless endeavors, right?
Right.
It's this is like it's like that it's like I'm here to have a relationship like any other being in this earth, but on a different playing field that hasn't been either discovered or been years since we've had this. I mean, that's what I'm getting from you for a multiple conversation. That's why I love talking about you because I'm learning, I'm putting pieces together a bit more, but I'm seeing more that your intent is so much more about the relationship. And it's like I'm here to share the knowledge. I'm here to share what's important to these beings, and it's not about proving their existence. It's about having a relationship.
That's exactly what it is. Like when that they wrote, Mike Quast wrote that book, it made it in the top 100 bestsellers list on
Mhm.
Amazon for mysterious books. I ain't getting a penny out of it. That's not what it's. Yeah, do I need money? Heck yeah, I need money.
Who
That's
doesn't?
not what it's about.
Who
Um,
doesn't?
when they did,
Yeah.
Jason Kinsey did Searching for Sasquatch 10 at my place. It won 5 international awards. I ain't getting a penny out of it. Nothing,
You,
because
you
that's
know
not what it's about.
you know what's funny, Randy? After talking to you for many times, I don't listen to much Sasquatch stories or watch videos on Sasquatch. Not because they're bad. I want to make sure I put that out there. It's because I just feel like it's like I just feel like Randy's gonna be sitting here saying, no, no, you're not doing no, that's not how it works. It's like I'm not an expert, but it's again not to put those shows down or do that. I want to talk ill about that because hey, people have the right to do what they need to do. But I gotta say this, man, my checklist for Sasquatch is like I just go to Randy. I just I
Yeah,
talk
the
to
same with me.
I
I
talk
don't.
to Randy, so
Yeah, I don't watch any of that stuff either.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I won't get into what I really feel about a
Oh,
lot of things.
you can. I'm just being nice. But
Yeah,
but listen, Randy, if you want to talk, listen. if I piss off, if my people get pissed off about how you feel about it, that's their opinion. Then people can choose to leave. I understand that. You know what? Give me your thoughts and feelings about that. I think it's important to hear that. It's not to, because it's think of it like you're giving constructive criticism. Give me your thoughts if you want to. Go for it.
I'm tired of the famous documentary stars that are putting the wrong thing out about what Sasquatch really is, and the masses are believing it. And most of those people have never seen one. They don't know what they're talking about.
Even like the Patterson film. Those are the you know talking
Patterson
about?
film is right. That's good. That's good. No, I'm talking about the TV shows.
Gotcha. Or even the
That's
movies.
what
You
I'm
think?
talking about. Those ones without saying no names. They have never
Yeah.
seen one. It'd be like me talking about your house right now and being
Yeah.
an authority on your. I've never seen your house. I can't be an authority on your house.
So let me ask you this question. There's movies out there. Like, okay, one of my favorite movies, actually my favorite, this is gonna sound really stupid and gulpy. My favorite fun movie that's a really good horror movie is Henry and the Harrisons.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. And I won't forget
Yeah.
the scene how when the was it the John Lithrow, the character, like he drew
Yep.
who Henry was, like, his that he's kind, he's loving and all stuff. And then his boss later changed it, made it ferocious and so forth like that. And it's funny because I thought about you in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you're like, that's not what what they are, who they are, right? You're just trying to create fear and publicity and a drive for money and all those good things, which is pointless. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen other movies of Sasquatch and so forth. And it's funny because we look at Sasquatch, believe it or not, as just these vicious animals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like saying, I think at the point, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm taking it two step further, it's almost like saying another country is this, it's like a racism type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is this vicious, uneducated people,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Am I kind of off base there?
No,
Because
you're right. Yep.
when I'm watching that, I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. Because who's the expert on that? That's totally stereotypical. How would I like to be stereotyped?
Yep. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, there's some people that are right on, and we don't even know each other. And what they're saying is the same thing I'm saying. Kawani Laparitis is right on about Sasquatch. You got to look him up and listen to him.
Cool. What's it?
Kawani, and he's from Washington.
Whoa, hold on. Let me get after
I can't
setting up
even
my
spell
room.
it.
Dude, I can't even pronounce it. Oh, you know what? Hold on one second. I'm going to actually do this. Give me a second. Give me a second. This is
Mm-hmm.
great. This is on film too. I'm totally screwing up. I'm Chris Lopez from the Bound to Truth podcast. Kawani, actually on the phone. How do you spell it?
I don't know how to spell it.
Okay, let me hold on one second. I'm gonna go to my Kawani last name.
Lap is like LAP, Lapper, ERISTIS, something, Laparitis.
It sounds like a disease. It sounds like a disease, man. I'm not. It sounds terrible saying that. Okay.
And I got somebody else too.
All right. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a photo of it and find it. Kawani Uprise. And then, okay, what's the next one?
She is on A Flash of Beauty. Tara Harris on A Flash of Beauty. She is right on.
You know what? That was a lot easier.
Yeah.
And is
What she
she,
says about Sasquatch is the same thing that I know. And we know I've never even met her.
is she
And
a
she's
lot?
on that show Flash of Beauty.
Okay, Flash of Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was Flash of Beauty. Jeez.
Yeah.
Lord. You know what they call me? With this beard right now and my hair, I look like freaking Teen Wolf.
But it's black. Mine would
Yeah,
be all
dude.
gray right here.
Dude. Okay. Open. All right. I'll definitely do some research on that one. Yep, got her. Okay, cool. All right, I'll have to do some research on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So we're reaching about an hour and four. God, I could talk to you forever, man. I love you. That's how much I love you, man. You're
Well,
you're
let's
such a
talk
good
about
guy.
that fog thing quick. Like, I want to tell you what I
Yeah.
experienced.
Yeah. You know what? Let's do it. So talk about this mysterious fog. What happened? What was your experience with it?
Well, it was really foggy here in northern Minnesota, like bad. And I usually leave about 1 in the morning to go to Hayward, Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
because I have the contract there for their national acts and their stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm leaving, I'm driving. I get about 25 miles away from home, and all of a sudden it's really smoky like smelling. And I'm thinking, what the heck? Is there a fire somewhere? And it was so I couldn't even see 50 yards in front of me with
Mm-hmm.
the and my big Freightliner truck. And I'm wondering what that was all about, but I don't know what it was. But it was really terrible. The fog was so thick and it smelled like something was burning, but there was never no flames or nothing.
Did you have any like respiratory issues or minor in things that happened aftermath of that or no?
Not no, not that I no, not really. Not that I
What
remember.
so
No.
what besides it being foggy, did the fog look different compared to natural fog or no?
It was thicker than thick. That's all
Interesting.
I can say. Really thick.
So the reason I was bringing that up, and just to kind of recap, with everything that's going on with all the, you know what, I want to change the word weird. I'm gonna say extraordinary. We're
Yes.
living in a very extraordinary time because weird is just a subject is like that's a bad thing or that's just odd.
Hmm.
I would say, and we have a lot of extraordinary things that are happening. I think there's a lot of things that tied it things like as someone asked me before, what's Bigfoot, Sasquatch have to do with aliens? Nothing or
Hmm.
everything, right? So, Randy, to kind of recap everything, and I know, we talked a lot about the Sasquatch, and I just love your stories because they're amazing, and I'm just
Hmm.
blessed to be a friend, and here to listen to you. We've had a lot about the drones that happen in New Jersey and all over New York and so forth. We
Hmm.
talked a little about the smart dust or the smart fog or the fog, like you already had your personal experience.
Hmm.
Um, and then now recently, News Nation, Russ Corthart, who, came out with another whistleblower, God, I forgot his name, but he's same as David Grush, but except he's firsthand witness and came out with the film regarding carrying a UFO type of egg. What do you think's going on? What, we are having a lot of these extraordinary events are happening, but do you think, like, I mean, do you give it any thought?
I just
what's
thought
your,
of something.
yeah.
Was that fog some kind of cover up for something to happen with the alien thing or whatever that we couldn't see it?
And that's a possibility. That's one of the theories out there. We had those drones, right? The problem with these
Yeah,
drones is that they had no heat signature, regardless of their gas or battery, which is very, very odd.
that is
Um,
odd.
yeah, and also they've also flown around military bases, and we had one particular military base took its helicopter out, chased it 400 miles, had to refuel, and was gone.
Really, huh?
Yeah.
That's a strange.
Well, and so here's a weird thing. Some people think, well, is that government? Is that alien technology? I says, well, I think it's a bit of both. I don't think it's extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings. And when I say interdimensional beings, because we don't know who they are. We don't, right?
Hmm.
And so what we call gray whites could be that the cryptids that the Sasquatch are protecting from. We have no idea, right? We don't because we're thinking like, well, if it's aliens and if it's Bigfoot and it's this like that, that makes no sense. Well, we have no hell of an idea what it is. It could be all tied together and we're just labeling it just to label it, right?
Hmm.
So, um, that's a possibility with the fog. I have no idea. All I know is that one of the theories that I would say I would choose that has more of a practicality with the drones that happen, especially with it flowing with imputative, when you fly, if you buy a drone, right? Besides, these drones are about the size of SUVs, buses. When you
Hmm.
buy a drone, especially recent ones, you're not going to fly in airspace. This can actually stop you. It actually there's a particular program that will stop you from flying near ferries, near airports, even built military bases. None of these have that.
Really?
Stop them. Yeah, no joke, no joke. And I wish John was here to tell about that because he will tell you exactly that. So there is something going on. I don't think it's China. I don't think it's Russia. That makes no freaking sense to me, right? But I think it's private corporations like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon,
Hmm.
BlackRock type of thing. I think just like for the many years our government, like I'm not gonna just say military as a blind spot because I respect the military a lot. My father was in the Navy, and a lot of people I know that I'm talking about the ones that in that I would call it dark, deep place or like, the deep state, right? And I
Hmm.
think there's contracts with private corporations that are, God knows what, testing it, creating, watch this, why this is happening. That's a possibility. All I can say is that we had a bunch of drones that happened before the inauguration. Again, I'm not trying to promote Trump. I'm not doing that.
Hmm.
I'm not going to go politics here. I can, that's an
Yeah.
off camera thing, but I'm talking about there's a lot of things that are happening when it came to the drones, when it came to the smart fog, when it came to all these news releases with now there's more proof of psych warfare like remote viewing, as well as now we have Rick and now we have Morty that actually was Will Nanu coming from a spaceship egg,
Hmm.
and then we have these incredible fires that are happening in California. There is a lot of distraction. So my question to you is, and I know this is off topic with Sasquatch, but the world's gotten crazy, man. Any thoughts?
Not really.
Fair
No.
enough.
I
Get a
try to.
bunker. You have a bunker, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
but I can tell you this year, up in Oak Island during
uh-huh.
the fishing thing, the guy, the other guy, they come every year. He's a ammunition Navy intelligence guy.
Yeah.
So I asked him, "What about those drones?" He smiled and said, "Nothing for you to worry about, Randy." That's all he would say. That's what he said.
That's
Of course,
it.
he wouldn't say nothing if he knew anything, but that's what he said to me.
That's it. You
He
know what?
smiled at me.
I'll tell you this. That reminds me when I was working for, I'm not going to name the bank. This is a bank in the past.
Yeah.
I asked an older gentleman who used to work for Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, and I asked him straight up at my desk, "Hey, so you guys got alien ships?" He did.
Hmm.
He did this.
Well, did he? Yeah. There you go. That's a good enough answer.
That was it.
Yep. Yep.
That was it. And
Yeah, that's a good answer, really. And he didn't say nothing.
he didn't say nothing. He just smiled at me, and that was
Yep.
it. And yeah, it's we live in interesting times. And you know what's funny too is I think that I'm hoping like with the Sasquatch and everything that's tied into it, that there's gonna be a tie to everything because I don't think, again, yeah, I know you don't place things and you don't put beliefs out there. I really feel that these beings are interdimensional, just like Bigfoot.
Hmm. Hmm.
I feel like the cryptids are potentially interdimensional, just like Bigfoot.
Hmm.
I think when we read the Bible and other religions, they talk about different planes, interdimension,
Hmm.
right? I believe that interdimension has been played with since the beginning, since our time and knowledge with we can call Nephilims whatever. But I think the aggressive state was when Aleister Crowley came out, and then you had Jack Parsons who supposedly opened portals, in which we happened at the same time of the Roswell incident at that area, in regards to
Hmm.
UFOs landing. We have the CERN. We have Project CERN that likes to find the God particle. I think they're messing with something like that. I think the biggest thing, though, too, Randy, and I was talking to my dad about this, and one of the things that came up to my head is about our nuclear capabilities. And I think that, people are like, well, if they're extraterrestrial, why do they care if we blow up our planet? They're way across somewhere else. Well, again, I go back to, well, if they're interdimensional, maybe what we're using that's so destructive doesn't just influence or affect this playing field, it can affect other playing fields as well, right?
I got I got something I better tell you that I don't really tell too many people.
Go for it.
I'm going to tell you this one
Go for
because
it.
it's way out there. Okay.
I'm way out there. Go for it.
The she squashers, they wanted to come and
Mhm.
spend the night at the place there. And I only had one night for them to do it. And then they had to leave because I had to get ready for a music job.
Mhm.
So they came there, Jen from Fargo and Jenna. Jen is the remote viewer, the psychic lady, but Jen is that too. She's strong that way too. So Jen didn't want to sit in a deer stand by my gifting area. She wanted to sit at the fire ring by herself.
Okay.
And so Jenna wanted to sit in a deer stand. So I got her in a deer stand south of my gifting area, but maybe less than 50 yards away. And she's in there's woods, there's a trail, and then there's a deer stand. I'm the opposite way. I'm north of my gifting area. I told her, here's what we're gonna do. No talking, no nothing, no on the phone, no nothing. Because it'd be even neat if you seen a deer walk by or a bear walk by, because it was in October, you got to be really quiet, like we're hunting. So she said, okay, she would like doing that. So I'm in the one deer stand, and it's dark now. All I seen a flashlight in the woods towards my gifting area. One flash, like what a firefly would do.
Right.
And I seen it quick, like, and I think, did I just see that? But then I seen it again. Then I seen it again in different spots through the woods there. I seen it 8 times. Then I seen another flashlight about that big around, like a
Mm.
softball. And then I seen it again. Then I got this massive headache, back of my neck back here. Oh my God, it was bad. And I'm trying to hold my neck and rub it, and it's not going away. I almost want to make me throw up. It was that terrible. Finally, I wrote to her and said, um, Jenna, we got to leave. I got this massive headache. I got to get out of here. And so I'm going to walk over and get you. It's totally dark out. So I go over and get her. We get to the house there. I take my aspirins. And then we walk to where Jen is at the fire ring.
Mhm.
I asked Jen, did you anything happen? She said, yeah, something been buzzing her head. It happened 8 times. Like that.
Mm.
She didn't say what it was. She knew what it was, but then she didn't say nothing. And so the next morning they leave. I go about 4 or 5 o'clock to my gifting area, and all my stuff is moved. My little trinkets, all the different spots. Now this is where it's going to get weird. I'm down on my hands and knees, down where I got the dice, the Rubik's cube, popsicle sticks, and all that. And I hear something come on, buzz in my head, and I look up and I see it. I seen what it was. I'll tell you in a second. So I get back to the house and I call Jen. She answered the phone. I said, Jen, do you believe in fairies? She says, oh, yeah. That's what was buzzing my head. She said, what? Did you something happen? And I lied to her, white lie. I said, no. I didn't want her to think I'm just copying her.
You
So
you
I
you
said,
wanted to avoid any type of wrong influence, right? Yeah,
exactly right. So
gotcha.
I said, no. I get out the phone. I look up fairies. And what I seen and what that showed me in the picture, and it said they like to move trinkets around. They like to move marbles around and do all that stuff. What do I got going on? So I called her up and I said, Jen, I did a little bit of white lie to you. She says, what? I seen what flew by my head. I seen it plain as day. She said, you did? I said, yeah, it was one of those fairy things. Chris, I seen the feet, the legs, the body, the arms, the head, and the wings. I seen it good. You know, the back of
Oh yeah.
it went by me. I seen the thing. It was about 8 inches long, about that long.
Wow. Would I mean, you had a quick look. Do you know what it looked like
Yeah,
besides?
I looked up. Oh my God, I just seen that.
Wow.
No, that's out there. I never even thought nothing about them things.
You know what's funny? I think sometimes with entertainment industry and movies and everything like that, with all the stuff that sounds ridiculous, that it's actually real, and we just try to soft play it.
Yeah, I
You
think you're
you
right.
know you know you know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
fairy, that's crazy. Like Tinkerbell from Peter Pan,
yeah,
or like, it's like, no.
right. And
It's yeah.
I don't bring that story up too much because it's almost hard to believe what I've really got going on. Now I'm saying fairy. I'm saying that now. People are
You,
going to
you,
think, what is he smoking?
hey,
Well, I'm not smoking anything.
you know what? You know what? You know what'll scare me than a
What?
Sasquatch? This is gonna make you laugh. A freaking gnome.
Really? Yeah,
I just think those little boogers is like Chucky, dude, with little pointed hat and beard. Just gonna
I agree
scare
with you
me.
because
Yeah.
Ron Shaw lives 2 miles as the crow flies to the west of me.
Mm.
And so do the Red Lake people up in the reservation up there. They talk about little people all the time, and so does Ron Shaw. He said he's seen them, and so does his mother. She's not going to be making stuff up.
Nope, I'm not
I've
messing with the
never
gnome.
seen that, but Mike's got a friend that's a really good psychic person,
Yeah.
and she told me when she got to here's what she did. She gets out of the house here, goes on the power line. She said, "Don't tell me where nothing's at." She walks a little ways. She goes into the woods to the right, to the west. She comes to one of the spots where there's a little teepee, a little one, not a big one. It's only
No.
about 4 feet tall.
No.
Yeah, she goes right to it,
Dude.
looking at it and all that stuff. Then she gets out. She starts walking south and she runs. I mean, she runs to my gifting area. There's no way she would know that because it's in the woods.
Yeah.
And she said, Randy, you got a lot of elementals here. You got little people here. You got lots of Sasquatches here. She said, do not bring the girls out here by themselves ever, ever.
Yeah.
Really hardcore on that. And she said the red Sasquatch you got here and the black one do not get along.
I will
That's
say
what she
this.
said.
I will say this. Your property and where you're at in that area makes, and I'm not trying to I'm not saying this to compete with Skinwalker Ranch is as just as right now is making Skinwalker Ranch look okay. Um, I would, I mean, not you have to hear this from me, dude. Protect your area, man. Like from people, just because there's a lot of crazy people that come out, and try to be all heroes about things, man. Yeah, I think you know that. Protect your area,
Yeah.
especially with people and all that stuff, because
Yeah.
you got
Well,
something special.
on my site, Randy's Bigfoot research thing,
Yeah.
my one daughter, oh, she's the psychic thing and all that. She went through some of the people that are in there, and one person has got 8 different profiles of different people. She said, Randy, you got to get rid of them. She said, Dad, you got to get rid of them.
You know
So I
what?
did. Eight
They're
different,
those are scary.
yeah, I know. I didn't
Those
even
are
know that, but
scary.
she went
Yeah.
through it and said, you got 8 different profiles there of the same person. Get rid of it. It's something weird there.
And
Somebody from,
from where?
go ahead. Oh, like somebody from Vietnam or Korea or something. It was weird.
Dude, you know what? It could be some crazy psycho, or it could be government infiltrate. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who
who
knows?
knows? I know.
Who freaking? You know what? Who knows? Just stay defensive and tell them to piss off. Type of thing. So,
Well, Doug Hychek's been here. He calls this place Skinwalker Ranch of the North.
oh, I
That's
agree.
his
That's
words
why. Yeah, yeah. You definitely got a very particular area. But the thing that I look at different between you and Skinwalker is because the people who own, there's been some incredible stories with Skinwalker, with when I forgot the name of the family that were living at their time, right? But it was more out of fear and dread and the things that were having negative experiences. Like even was one another one called Skywalker Ranch, not no, that's Star Ranch, something like that. That's Skywalker Ranch. But there was a lot of negative reactions towards it. For the difference between you, especially with the Sasquatch, is that it's been more of an open relationship and open communication, not like get the hell off my land or I'm going to kill you. You're just
right.
like, I'm curious what this is, and I want to discover what this is. And if it's like, don't carry guns, okay, gotcha. If I'm carrying something, it's not for you, it's for this. I just want to communicate relationship. Don't have cameras and do this stuff. Okay. How can we meet the middle type of thing? You're the first person I've met who's or you just talk to who really embraces it, not in some one direction where if I see it, I'm gonna kill it. It's like
Exactly.
I'm here to embrace it and understand it. Because if
Right.
I'm
I'm here
kill,
to,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah, if I'm killing something, I'm not learning anything.
Exactly right.
You're like, I'm curious about something that's able to not be discovered, this big, do all these things. Why do I want to kill something that has such special qualities and special abilities? I want to understand what the Sasquatch is. And then guess what that open mind is has opened up a whole different level of relationship, which has changed your world, not in bad ways, in great ways, I think, in my
Yep.
opinion. Right? I think
People
it's
say, what
beautiful.
is your main goal? My main goal, and maybe it'll never happen, is have a one-on-one together, sit down and they tell me what's really going on. That's my main goal. Maybe it'll never happen ever, but that is my goal.
What pissed me off if I died and I get to heaven and God's like, you just got punked. I'm like, that's not Matt. That's not funny.
Yeah. Now, I have
Oh,
told the Jenna,
yeah.
I will never let anybody do cameras in my place ever again. I will not let
Yeah, I
like
remember mentioning that.
Jen walks around with her camera and all that stuff at nighttime. She said, why? I said, Jenna, what's the reason you guys are doing that? Well, to get some evidence. I said, there you go. To get evidence.
Exactly.
Never will happen ever again.
Exactly. It's about the experience. And it's almost like and I like you say that again, going back to that. It's almost like saying, like, it's like if you're with your wife or your wife with doing this to you, saying, why are you filming us? Oh, I want evidence of a relationship. Isn't our experience enough? I don't understand that. Who are you trying to prove?
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
This should be enough. I mean, I think that's a really good point. And people
Yep.
can call that for what it is and like, well, that's just a sad excuse to make up a story. You know what? Okay. It's a great story then. And you know
Yeah.
what? It has great morals into it. It's you know what? Real or not, there's a respect of a relationship between two beings, between entities, right?
Hmm.
That should be. I don't care if we're better, if even we're smarter than the dog or the cat line. Like I have 4 cats, I have 6 chickens, I have 2 guinea pigs. I love them to death. You know why?
Hmm.
Because they teach me about humanity, unconditional
Hmm.
love. You know, again, that's just me. So yeah,
Yeah, I got a golden retriever. We got 3 dogs, but she's Velcroed to me.
yeah. Oh,
She's
Velcro.
laying right by me right now. She
That's
won't even
awesome.
go outside if Terry's here. Come on, I have to walk her to the door.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
home.
That's
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
but I like it.
That's awesome. But see, but that's beautiful though. That's how it
Yeah.
should be, right?
And she picked me when we went to get. He had a bunch of golden retrievers. They're all pups, but they were 8 months old. He never sold any of them. I
Mm.
get out of the pickup, and this she comes up there and puts her paws around me and holds my leg. I didn't call no dogs me. I said, "This is the one." He said, "That's the run." I said, "Look it, she won't let go of me."
That's beautiful.
That's something. I know
That's
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I had that with the cat too.
Did you?
Jumped on my shoulder and we're like, okay, he's coming home.
Really? Yeah. And cats they're more stubborn or whatever you want. Yeah,
Dude.
that's just something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. All right. So Randy, before we get off, gosh, we went an hour and 25 minutes. My God, dude, I was trying to keep an hour and 10 minutes, but it's hard to not talk to you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord, I will die talking to you, right? You're like the Chi Manili.
Well,
So
just wait till you come to my place.
I know, right? Jeez. So what I was going to ask you is, I didn't ask you this before we started the podcast. When is that event speaking that you're doing? When is that happening?
October 3rd is October 2nd. I'm going to be there. October 3rd is the show.
And this year, right?
Yeah. And in
Okay.
Ada, Ada, not Oklahoma, Ada, Ohio.
Okay. Would that be okay to post it on my
Yeah. Post it.
podcast or thing? So,
Yes.
and as long as you tell Cryptos of the Corn, I said hello. That's it.
Oh, I will. I will.
Tell them now in respect that I have a lot of respect for the show. I think they're great, and I wish them the best continued success and so
Yeah.
forth.
No,
But
I will.
just to say, hey, hello guys, and I appreciate what you do. Um,
Hmm.
Before and also before everybody, before we end the show tonight, again, just a reminder how to reach John and I, bound to shoot 34 at gmail.com, Twitter, or actually X, excuse me, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, gosh, so many platforms, Spotify, obviously, Buzzsprout, and then what else? Facebook as well. Definitely reach out to us. Definitely reach out to Randy. I gotta say this. This is a guy that has such great experience, and I'm blessed to hear his story so much. And not just to hear his story, it's not just about the story, it's to learn about what relationships are like and how it means to connect with people. And I'll tell you this, his friendship is bigger than his experience with the Sasquatch. And that's an ironic kind of twist to what it means to be a human being and what it means to connect together in this world that we live in, this one beautiful planet. Randy, before we get off, any final thoughts?
Yeah. Um, I would rather talk to people on the phone that get to my site or whatever on Facebook instead of typing in with my finger on my phone. If they want to learn what I know, call me on the phone or just look up Terry Randy Bauer and private message me, and I will talk to anybody on the phone. That's way simpler.
And I admit, and I will say that. I will say that because he talked to me. So, yeah. So,
Yep.
cool deal. All right, everybody. Randy, stay on. We'll debrief a little bit.
Yep.
Everybody, have a great night. God bless, and see you on the other side. Goodbye.